Speaking of rising temperatures, a new fallout over a prayer service planned for tomorrow by Texas Governor Rick Perry. The Republican governor hosting a 7-hour gathering of prayer and fasting in Houston. Critics say it goes too far for a public official. Anthea Butler, Associate Professor of Religious Studies at the University of Pennsylvania, joins us along with Jason Lewis, syndicated radio host and a regular on this show as well. Welcome to you both.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi, thanks.
All right, Anthea, what do you think about this? Has the governor crossed a line, or is this just something legitimately he can do, whether he's an elected official or not?
I think the governor is right up at the line and he's peering over the edge, Shannon. He's decided to bring together this prayer group, but these are partially people who are backing him. And so he could appear at a prayer meeting maybe that he didn't organize himself, but Rick Perry has been someone as a governor who is very on his sleeve about his prayer. He even had a thing about how to pray for the state back in April when they needed rain, and not much rain still come, but he's having a prayer meeting tomorrow.
Well, he's probably hoping tomorrow, I guess, will pay off. Jason, let me read you a little bit of what we have from this group. They say there are going to be no long sermons. There's no desire to gather in opposition to any group or philosophy.
Right.
We just want to pray for America. But they are facing a serious lawsuit that's now up to the Fifth Circuit, trying to shut this thing down before it starts tomorrow.
Well, look, there's always a touchy give and take between politics and religion, but atheists could go through the permitting process and they could pay the fee to rent out Reliant Stadium and they could have their non-faith celebration. That's the purpose of the First Amendment, a policy of neutrality where people who are believers and people who are not have the same access. So I don't see this as any much different anyway than the president's having his prayer breakfast or the Ten Commandments on the side of the Supreme Court building. Fact of the matter is, we may not be a Christian nation, but we are a nation of Christians, and that faith is going to be displayed or on display in the town square, and that's been the case for a couple of centuries.
Yeah, and Anthea, I mean, you mentioned this. I mean, he wears his faith on his sleeve. He's very unabashedly evangelical. There are others in this field, if he gets into the presidential race, who have similar thoughts and feelings. They're out in Iowa doing a lot to stir things up while he's still on the sidelines at this point. Any way this thing backfires on him as far as being able to reach not only to evangelical voters, but across to independents and to others that he would need should he really be going after the White House?
Well, I think, Shannon, it may backfire on him in this way. If he doesn't fill up Reliant Stadium tomorrow, it looks really bad if you've got an empty space and you've called for a prayer meeting. That's one. I don't think it backfires with him with religious conservative. It may backfire with him for more moderate Republicans who see this as him overstepping his bounds. So as long as he can fill the House tomorrow and he has some people there and they're praying, it's good for his base, which I think are evangelical and conservative religious voters. If it doesn't fill up, then he's got a problem with more moderate Republicans who probably want to get some funding and to give funding to a candidate that they can believe in and that can win.
And Jason, some of the allegations about this event are that it's aligned with fringe extremist groups, people who are out of the mainstream. But, you know, some groups use that to describe somebody who is against gay marriage or who is against abortion on demand. So what do you think? Is it too fringy for the average person out there?
I mean, it may very well be. I mean, Mike Huckabee went this route in Iowa. He had the Iowa ad with the cross in the background, and it got him the victory in Iowa, but it didn't do much. And so there is this tension between the Tea Party independents who are split between libertarianism and traditionalism, and you got to walk that fine line. But as a matter of public policy, Shannon, nothing along these lines, along the prayer breakfast or the prayer meeting, I should say, tomorrow, compares with this administration and the DOJ refusing to enforce the laws on the books when it comes to DOMA, or at least refusing to file an amicus brief. The DOJ said, we're simply not going to petition the court to uphold the law of the land on DOMA. Now, that's a radical view in my position.
All right, Anthea, last question to you. Does he risk alienating those of other denominations, whether it's, you know, something that's a little bit closer, like Lutheran or Catholic, or something a little bit different, like Mormons or the Jewish faith or others out there, including the Islamic community?
Yeah, well, he's actually doing that right now because there's a lot of people who are protesting against him today, this afternoon in Houston, and there are a coalition of 30 churches in the Houston area that signed on that don't want to have the prayer meeting happen. So yeah, I think that he has alienated some people, but I wanted to say something back to your other person, the other guest. This doesn't have anything to do with DOMA. What this has to do with is a prayer meeting, and so to bring up DOMA in the midst of all this, I think, no, I do think you're mixing apples and oranges here. Now, if this were a meeting
when it comes to the
just what
religious
we're going
right,
to do with
the elephant
DOMA,
in the
then that
living
would be
room is
something
gay
that,
marriage. Let's be honest about this.
and it is, and they're losing that elephant. That elephant is being painted over. So what happens? What will happen next? So we'll see.
We'll leave it there. Anthea and Jason, thank you both. Have a great weekend.
You bet.
You're welcome.